Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is an episode 151. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the very uncomfortable position to be in. And that's the meaning of what happens when your twin flame rejects you. It's not very nice to be in a world where you love someone so deeply and you feel so connected to someone, but at the same time they are rejecting you. They do not so-called love you back. They do not see you as you, and it makes you feel completely alone, useless, empty, because they will tell you, I don't feel the same way as you do. And today I'm going to walk you through of so-called what is the divine feminine, divine masculine, the rejection, why it happens, and why is it so important to become your higher self. That's one of the things that I am a profound and I believe in of this journey, because when I started working with energies, with healing, with transformation, I started to see things in a very different perspective. And while twin flame, when you meet your twin flame, you do feel the love you never felt before, or at least haven't felt that with anybody else. And there is a reason for that. And I always say I don't like the labeling. I don't like twin flame, divine feminine, divine masculine, mind, and the separation part of it. But on this episode, I am using these terms just to bring the idea, what are the roles for you? And why does the so-called rejection is going to happen, and what is going to awaken within you? Whether we like it or we don't, your twin flame came to your life to awaken you. It is your spiritual awakening, and often where the Kundalini rises. The Kundalini can rise in many different ways, meaning of it can be in a moment when you met instantly, or it can slowly start coming to you. And that is about your spiritual awakening. And here we just come down to the fact whether we like it or not, like our ego likes the idea of not a spiritual awakening, that your twin came to your life to awaken you, because often we over romanticize the whole concept. And then we build the idea how it should be, how my life should be with this person. And if this person is not in my life, or if this person chooses somebody else, or if this person rejects me or doesn't see me, then I am not worthy, I'm not good, I need to be somebody else. And here I want to stop you for a moment. The whole idea is to become you, truly you, not to become somebody else that another person, so-called of your twin flame, will start loving you now, because you are changing and shifting. Yes, there's a change and shift, but change and shift into your truth, into the alignment of who you truly are. And if they are able to see this part of you, who you truly are, and love that person, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. But it's not the goal of shifting and changing that, do I have to be something else now? Do I have to pretend to be somebody else? And that is not an idea. And today I'm going to read also a story from one of our beautiful listeners. She is very beautiful, very talented. What a beautiful soft soul. But her twin recently just rejected her from in the journey. And when she sent me that email, I really wanted to read this email for the fact that I know many of you have felt this way. And then becomes this spiral of self-blaming, guilt, shame. All of this is going to come up. And yes, there is a reason for that, because it shows it's not healed yet. But also it's not exactly so-called your fault. And when we start living our life because someone else told us we are this, we are that, and I'm not interested, and now we are confused. Don't get me wrong here. when someone rejects us when we love them, it's very painful. And I just want to emphasize this a lot over here. Even though I can say today certain things that can trigger you, I'd like to just start with the fact that it is painful when someone rejects you. Rejection is never something we feel happy about it. If someone says you're not good enough of this, you're not beautiful enough, I don't love you, it hurts us. I remember from my own life stories as well, when something happened in the sense of, or someone told me something about me that I was actually happy about, and then someone says, oh, you're not good enough of this. It's painful. So it's not something we should feel happy about it. But I want to talk about from a twin flame concept, that why is it like this? And I know many of you are listening, and you see that your twin flame is the best partner of your lifetime, and they are in a certain ways, but not at the cost of yours, because the best partner you have in your lifetime is you. And that's where it comes down to why I talk about becoming a higher self, why I do the workshops, why I offer the energetic shifts. Why? Because when you shift your energy, you shift your reality. And all of these things in your life will change. But also to remember, when we are doing this, the life is going to throw a lot in our world. So I'm going to walk you through that. Why, like what is happening. And I will read the email as well. So just to get the perspective. Because I see, and that's the very big theme, and I'm going to say that the episodes 148, 149, 50, and now this episode and the upcoming episode, they're all like one episode together somehow. So if you haven't listened to the other ones, I recommend you to listen, as each one of them shows you how much you have to choose yourself. And I know when we meet our twin flame, one of the things that we say very quickly, and I said it too, is that I have never felt deeper love in my life than I felt now. I didn't even know. Let's say you've been married and you felt, I never felt that towards my husband or my wife. Or you had partners before and you never felt, and even if you divorced, you felt like, I never had such a heartbreak. And now I met the person for 3 weeks or 3 days or 3 hours, and I can't get them out of my mind. I can't function no longer normally. What is happening to me? And there are many aspects. One of the things is that it is triggering your spiritual awakening. It triggers you to understand that you are one and there is no separation, and the self-love. So when the other person, so-called of your twin flame, but also remind yourself, the so-called twin flame is also another person, another ego, another avatar, and they have also their path to go through. So when they withdraw from you, it's not because they don't maybe love you. Perhaps they don't love themselves. And that comes down to a lot of self-love, and we know that. If you would have met your soulmate today, you wouldn't listen to that podcast of me explaining you about the deep awakening, the awakening that brings you back to the deep love within. Twin flames are different than any kind of other relationships. I know your ego gets triggered already, your feeling, but this is the most ultimate love. Absolutely. The ultimate love within you. If you get to have the relationship with your twin flame, wonderful. But it's not the thing that it's set in the stone that twin flames are going to be in a relationship all the time. Who you're going to be in a relationship with, and the most important relationship, is within you. And whether you like it or not, but I believe that today's story is very eye-opening for this. And it's not here to say that we shouldn't love anybody. I know when I say these things, immediately where our brain goes or our mind goes is like, but we are meant to be together. We are meant to share love together. That's what is the human experience. And I totally agree with all of that. I totally do. But when your happiness, your emotions, your life depends on another person's behavior, actions, and validations, you are not free. Meaning of their way of communicating, their way of being in your life defines your love, defines who you are, and a lot more. And that's not something you want, actually. I know there is another part where I often hear about, often twin flames meet when they are married or they are in a relationship or things like that. So the number one thing we feel, oh, I never felt love like that. Wow, this is divine, that awakens me. And then comes another part of leaving the partner. And I have often said about it that there is a lot of fear around it. And I have said as well, if my husband would have walked in one day to the house and told me, I met my twin flame, my life is changed now, I am awakened, I am this, I am that, so on, I would have never believed him. I would have said, wow, what a great excuse. I would have been in my ego, in a defense. I would have felt also that pain and that feeling of I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough as a wife. All of these things. Because someone else out there is better than me. Because he chose someone else. And then the other way is that if he stays with me and he doesn't love me, what is the point of that too? And often the ego is in a sense of, I want you, but don't we want to be free? If you don't love me, that's okay. I can't force you to love me. I can't. If I am not you don't see me as love, that's wonderful. I can't force anyone to love me. It doesn't work like that. And same way on the other side, that if so-called divine masculine, like we're using it here, and I will explain about it, but please don't get stuck on these labels, but tells you, I don't love you, I don't see you, I don't feel you, and you start defining your own worth and value from it, because I know it hurts. I know it hurts when you love someone so dearly and they don't love you back or they don't see you. And now me telling to hear about how it is a spiritual awakening, how you need to go within, how you need to discover who you are, is very triggering actually, isn't it? But if you would just open your heart for a moment and see, but with whom I have to have the best relationship? With myself or with others? Do I love myself really like this, that I'm okay? And we know also the fact of the boundaries. And the boundaries are an act of self-love. And we've spoken a lot about how to set the boundaries. So I bring it in today as much as I can. It's definitely going to be, I will leave out certain things because it's a very deep topic. It's a painful topic. We don't want to be humans rejected. We want to be one. But when you have something inside of you where you have abandoned yourself, where you have rejected yourself, where you haven't seen yourself as love, it's going to come to the surface. And that's what Twin Flames is doing. And I want to remind you that Twin Flame journey is not a punishment, even though it feels like this way. So what happens in order to understand why the rejection comes in twin flame dynamics? We need to shift the perspective. That's the number one thing. We need to shift the perspective. Because we will start to go into that fairy tale image, the love, the romance, and all about how we can be in a union, in a 3D union. But twin flame path in the beginning is about awakening. It's not about the 3D relationship. And whether we like it or not, whether you are together with your twin flame today, I know I have now a lot of listeners who are together with their twin flames. And they start to see that it's not about the 3D union. It's very complicated because it's energetic. And when we are meeting our twin flame, the idea is to take these illusions away, what you've been living in that matrix, so-called, and open your ego, open the heart, open all of this, that your ego is going. Why do we say there is a dark night of the soul, the ego death? It's very painful. And now, when the divine masculine, so now we call that divine masculine who is coming to your life, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it doesn't mean of a male or a female, nothing to do with gender. We bring it in as an energy, divine masculine energy. Because what is divine masculine energy? It's an action-based energy. So it comes into your life and it has the activated energy, the energy that is going to activate. And it's like a lightning bolt. It's really like a lightning bolt. I remember when I met my twin and I could not understand what just happened to me. And I've spoken a lot about this on my previous episodes, that I am very friendly with everyone, but I'm at the same time very reserved as well. So it's like I meet a lot of people all over the world. But for me to have that activation, I never thought that my twin was not my type, not at all. So to understand what just happened to me, and I felt divine love. I never felt something so deep, and on that moment I felt the same thing what every one of you is feeling. I never felt more home than I felt in that moment. And of course that spiraled everything. But the presence of the twin flame, so-called divine masculine, can be a female and a male in this lifetime. And it can also be the fact that you are a female and all of a sudden it's another female who activates you to that deep love, to that understanding who you are as one. On this journey, there is no logic. There are no rules, and often we see it complete opposite. We start to see there is an age gap. Again, to teach you that love is not in a sense of set into that, oh, we have to be same age gap, or from the same culture, or from the same religion, or speak even the same language, or have, it's nothing to do. Love is not conditioned. True, deep love is not conditioned. It's not about I like you, you like me. But when the divine masculine presence is like a lightning bolt over there, it mirrors, so for the divine feminine's deepest fear, abandonment, unworthiness, or not being loved. And in the beginning, of course, our ego will fight back to this. When my twin flame told me such a things that, why am I so protective? Why am I holding the protection around me? I could not agree with that. I was like, I don't understand. I'm not protective. I was extremely protective of getting hurt. I would control every aspect of my life of not getting hurt while I was hurting. Isn't that a bit of a paradox? That I was in pain actually because I didn't feel the love and I was so empty inside of me. I was extremely empty. And then I built the protection wall around me to be the strong, independent woman. When my twin also told me, for example, that why don't you let anyone to take care of you? Why you have to take care of everything and everyone? Again, my ego raised up and I was like, no, that's not true. I have my husband, I have my family, But then when I had to look into the mirror, I realized this is my understanding of love, of providing and protecting. So it's very much of a masculine energy, but no self-love towards myself. Not at all. And it was very difficult for me to see, but if you don't have self-love towards yourself, and I'm not talking this bubbly self-love kind of thing, I love myself, I'm so pretty, I'm this. No, I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of that deep love where you feel home, where you feel enough. And even if somebody would tell you, well, you're the ugliest person, you still would feel love towards yourself, and you understand that the other person is hurting. And you don't look for the validation. My way of validation was achievements, providing everything. That was my understanding of love. Very wrong understanding. And then, of course, everything else starts to crumble around you as well. The relationships with the people around you, you see a lot more drama, you see a lot more things. So as this mirror is very intense, the awakening, when it begins within you, so-called divine masculine often runs away. And then it's even more harder. They left you. You just, let's say, had the most beautiful time. You felt the love you never felt. And now they are leaving and they're no longer there. Why is that? And from the outside, it absolutely feels absolutely cruel. And I'm not saying that. But on the energetic level, when the masculine, so-called divine masculine, we use the terms today, is withdrawing, it's their way of processing their own fears. Fear of intimacy, vulnerability, losing his identity, and to step into the power of the authentic power of who they truly are. And so when they go away from your life, it's not about your worth. It's not about that. But also that what starts to trigger inside of them. That's why it's called mirror. It sounds a very stupid example what I'm bringing in right now. But for example, it's a very stupid example. I don't like talking about weight or things like that or our self-image. But let me just bring it in. Let's say you know that you have put on weight or something like this and you're not very happy about it, but you kind of avoid the mirror until you can. And then at one point you go in front and you realize, oh, what have I done? What happened to me? It's not the best example what I bring it up here, but it's the same idea that when we try to avoid something and then someone reflects that to us, whether it's with our finances, with our love, our relationship. I remember my twin flame really mirrored my marriage to me, really. And it was a very hard thing because the first thing is when I met my twin, I said immediately, because I had no interest of, I didn't even know anything about twin flames. I didn't know what happened. And as honest I am always, I was like, yeah, I'm married to a nice guy, I have children, all of that. And I liked when he looked at me at one point and he deeply looked into my eyes and says, are you really in a happy marriage? Are you really happy? And that, you know, when someone speaks the soul truth to you, it triggers you. Because I could see what I had been holding back, what was wrong there. But it was a very difficult thing for me to look into the mirror. Very, very hard. And I had to look into the mirror of seeing who I am actually and what I'm doing wrong. And it was hard. So just to say that many of you are listening to my podcast today and they hear a different part of me, I'm going to say it was not easy at all. The turmoil of all of this was insane. And I know you are who you are listening. You know how hard it is. And so in that moment, the cycle begins. The feminine, as you right now, we call that divine feminine, starts to feel abundant, and the masculine starts to feel extremely overwhelmed because it's a both ways. It's like wake up, and wake up. Step into your power. And then the feminine feels, I'm not good enough. So again, you mirror each other, exact same wound. And that's what happens in the beginning. And each of you are somehow forced to face the aspects of themselves. And you know how easy it is to look at outside, how easy it is to judge others. Although I'm going to say, if you are listening to this, get yourself a habit of not judging anybody. Because God has a way of, or universe has a way, when we judge something, we'll have the same lesson. Don't look so much outside. try to look at inside more. Look at what is it triggering in you, because it's so easy to say, oh, this person is like that. Oh, they are like this. It's so easy. For me, it's very hard. I have always very hard time to be in a situations where it's judgment or blame. But again, I'm just bringing it in that try to look what's going on within you. And so what happens in a divine feminine now? We know what happens when you're listening to this, I believe. So divine feminines are the ones we call the ones who start to awaken. So that divine masculine came in as a lightning bolt, awakened you, showed you everything you can be, and then disappeared like never happened. Or even tells you, I'm not interested in you. And there you are. So of course, the divine feminine will start to feel the dark night of the soul. We know that the dark night of the soul comes in. And suddenly all of these insecurities, even though you thought you have healed, and this is the thing with a thought, and this is the why I believe in energy. When we think I have surrendered, when we think I have let go, when we think I can handle this now, universe will give you a test. I remember myself of going, oh, I'm now surrendered. I will no longer, because you could hear that everywhere on the videos and things like, you need to surrender, you need to let go. And after all of this crazy madness, I was like, yeah, I'm surrendered now. And the universe showed me immediately in 3D. And guess who spiraled back? Me. And I had about 3 or 4 times until I went to the retreat. And there we had the holotropic breath work and all of these things we did, and that changed everything. That was the moment when I did that. I felt the inner union. I felt that this is all real. And then my twin came back to my life within a real truth, telling me everything what happened to him. And from there on, the journey really shifted for me. Really, I started to see this completely differently. But until then, I had this mind way. I'm surrendered, I'm all of that. But now when these versions are coming back like, am I not beautiful? Did I do something wrong? Was I not enough? And energetically, this is the moment we have to balance the heaven and earth, so-called. So meaning, on one hand, you are being awakened into higher dimensions. You've been awakened. You see the signs, you see the synchronicities. The feeling of destinies are undeniable. But on the other hand, so we are like in between the heaven and earth. On the other hand, you come back to this reality and you are like, the physical relationship is not working at all. I see the signs, I receive it, everything. I see what B is telling to me. Everything is happening. But in reality, it just goes further and further and further. So, but this is the person for you who is listening right now. It's very unlikely that so-called divine masculines are listening to this. Maybe one day they will. But this pressure is here for purpose. Because your task as a feminine energy who carries that awakened energy that you were awakened for, is to stop chasing the external mirror, and you have to turn inwards. When I also organized my first retreat and I realized we don't get anywhere with talking, we don't get anywhere. We have to go somewhere deep with energies. And my soul was telling to me that there is the energetic. Of course, right after this, I had an amazing training. I discovered so much more. But this was already in my blueprint. I already knew all of that. But then it was just like, it became reality. And I realized we cannot change and shift anything if we don't change the frequency and energy. It doesn't matter how many times I repeat something. It doesn't matter how many times I try to convince myself into something. It doesn't matter how much knowledge I have. If I don't change and shift the frequency, nothing is going to happen. Literally, you're going to repeat the exact same thing. And so you have to turn inwards. And so to ground, to nurture the self-love you have to cultivate, and you cannot be dependent on the masculine's validation. And that's why I say, when you become your higher self, and why this part is so important. Because whatever anybody else is going to do in your life will not affect you. And that's the gift. Because when you are at home in alignment, nothing what others people will do will affect you, because you know that it comes from the heart. So you need to learn to go into this softness, the self-love. So what happens in the divine masculine at the same time? We are always curious to know what happens to the divine masculine when they run. It might be a less visible. It might feel like, oh, they don't feel anything. But it's not less intense. So if the feminine falls into despair, like why is it happening? I don't know what to do, what's going to come, how I can change myself, how I can get it back. The masculine energy often feels into avoidance. And then they might question a lot of things about their life. But the fact that they pull away is not indifference. So if you talk about it a little bit spiritually in that way, it's kind of like they are making a shadow. That they are in the shadow. And they are also comfort the fears of failure or not being good enough or surrendering control, but then somehow in silence. So for the feminine, this looks like a rejection, but for the masculine, it's kind of like survival. That how can I survive here? And I see this every day. When I speak to people, and I don't speak about spiritual talks, or I don't tell to anyone how to live their life. This is not an idea of my podcast. This is not an idea of me. And when you also hear me saying certain things, it's not about for me to convince you. I just wanted that you find the truth within you. Another day, I also overheard a conversation, and I could just see that the answer is so simple. It's so simple. But when we are in that survival mode, fight and flight, we try to protect, we try to find everything else that is hard instead of surrendering into love. And that's a very human way of doing, don't get me wrong. I was the same. That's where the arguments are coming. That's where the separation is coming. I am this, you are that, this and that, all of this. But at the same time, we are all one. And the answer is love. The only answer is love. Accepting as it is. So I'm going to read a beautiful story from our soul that sent me the email that actually made that podcast happening. And maybe you will feel something over here. And I want to again emphasize the fact that when someone says to you, I don't love you, I don't want to be with you, I'm not interested of you, you are, let's say, hurting me, or I don't find you attractive. None of these things there's something we should be like, oh, it's my fault. There's also the fault of divine masculine, or who is running, divine masculine who is running from you. But the issue is when it's going to hurt you. And that's what I want to talk about. Let me bring just a very simple example. For example, let's say you are a dark-haired woman. You have a dark hair. And I would be on the street and I would scream, hey, redhead, come over here. You wouldn't turn around because you don't have a red head. Or you wouldn't feel connected to this statement. But now, when I would tell you, for example, you are very ugly and you are this and that, and inside of you, you have told yourself these things, or you believe in somewhere in deep that this is, it will trigger you. And why I say this is Because setting the boundaries, the self-love and inner knowing who you are, whoever is going to say something about you, it's not going to affect you as much. And also you can bounce it back energetically. It's a very hard topic because when someone tells us that, oh, you are absolute, horrible person, you are this and that, we start believing this. That's why I say the words have such a power and we have to be very careful of what we say to each other. But also it's not the truth. And that's where the problem comes. So let's go on from here. Hi, my dear soul. I'm reaching out after a very difficult day. I just did one of your exercises. She talks about the exercises on Patreon. Every one of you can do that. And I always say, when you feel so obsessed, you don't know what the answer is, you feel so much pain, try these exercises. Because they work with all of the elements, mind, body, and soul. And you will find relief on it. I'm looking forward to attend the sessions on Patreon again. I booked myself another breathing class in my hometown for next week, but I need to share some words as I hope it will help me now. As I told you in our last private session, I went to trip with my twin flame. After I sent you the message on Instagram about my 333s and some of specific signs lately, something happened today, and my fear, tears, and heartache are present. I have been crying the whole day. I actually want to stop here and talk a little bit about crying. We have this idea that when we cry, that we are weak and we shouldn't be crying over someone, or we shouldn't let it go from this is a bad thing when I start crying. Your body is very intelligent of knowing how to release energies, and one way is crying. I don't know how many of you, I have never cried as much as I cried during my spiritual awakening in my lifetime. I think it was years, but I've been suppressed inside of me, and then I could not no longer. I was crying non-stop. I felt it will never end. But I'm sure that many of you have felt when they have cried that they become lighter all of a sudden. They feel lighter in the body. So this is your body way, in your body, it's the way of releasing the energy. And we need to stop also shaming ourselves that I cried so much. No, your body is releasing. If it's your spiritual awakening, let it happen. Don't feel shame. Don't feel guilt. Don't feel it's a wrong thing to do. How else your body is going to release? There are different ways of releasing. Shaking, shivering. That's why trauma release exercise, which is on Patreon as well, is very powerful because you will be shaking all of the nervous system. Kundalini is very powerful because it attacks this nervous system to release. That's why we can do, and breath work, very powerful. They all work on the releasing from the body, and crying is one form of that. So just to say, when you cry, it's not that you are weak or you are obsessing over someone and you need to stop that. It's not an idea. We came back from our trip yesterday, and he said something that really hurt me deeply. He said he does not find me attractive all the time, or isn't attracted to me as much as in the beginning. He said some things about our relationship that isn't 100% as it should be. And maybe we are growing as friends. He doesn't feel the urge for me to be intimate with him. And I was so confused. We have been just together in Italy for 3 weeks, and he just dropped this after we got back. And he dropped me back at home, and I started crying. So I'm going to say now here, which is why I explained why the inner work, why the inner alignment is so important. When someone comes out of nowhere, you had a beautiful time together, and then they come and they say, I don't find you beautiful, I don't find you this. And it shatters you into pieces. Can you see what is the power of someone else's part that their heart is not open? And this is a big part of what I explained about in the beginning. I can't make anyone to love me. I can't make my husband to love me. I can't make my twin to love me. I can't make you to love me. I can't. I can try to pretend to be somebody else that you would like me perhaps, but I can't force you to love me. But what I can do is accept that you don't love me. And I know it sounds very, very hard when we are on twin flame journey because we are looking for that love. It's like a drug. It is like a drug. And now they say, I don't love you. Obviously, it's going to hurt, or I don't want to be with you, or especially if somebody says, I don't find you attractive and intimate. It hurts. But we have to understand it's their part. It's not that something is wrong with you. For example, even for me, there can be a most beautiful person on earth, most stunning person. But if their energy is off, I wouldn't find them attractive. I wouldn't find them lovable in that sense. Although I have a tendency to love everybody. Recently, I have noticed. But what I'm trying to tell you is that as we talk about the masculine, if the why did he come to the trip with you? So it means that there was something triggered. Maybe he's not feeling good enough as a man. Maybe there is something, but now what happens is we take it on ourselves and we start fully believing I'm not good enough. And that's what breaks my heart, that how someone else has a power over your beauty, over your essence, over your love. And if it doesn't, then it's okay. Then you let go and you say, I love you. I love you with all of my heart. But I love myself more and I choose myself more. Because I'm a believer that there is a frequency and energy that matches with every one of you. But to stay in a place where someone doesn't see you, don't do that. Even if it's a twin flame, and that's what I say, where the twin flame concept gets very, very so-called toxic, that we believe that we need to accept every single behavior they do or tell us or how it is. Because it's a divine love. It's a love I never felt before. But here comes in the boundaries. Like for example, in this situation, believe me, I would have exactly felt the same way as our writer felt. Exact same way. So it's not about me saying that we shouldn't feel this way. I would have felt 100% the same way. But what I'm trying to now tell you is when that someone has years of power over you, I like you, I don't like you, I want you, I don't want you, I want to be with you, no, I don't want to be with you. What a power this person has of your life. So I continue. In those weeks, I did not make enough time to keep my energy and frequency up by doing your exercises. I was living in the moment with him. But I tried some other things for myself, being in the sea, day in a spa and massage, writing and sleeping. But now I feel completely exhausted and really sad. I'll talk about this on my next episode. When we do the energetic shift and work, there's going to be moments where our body can be extremely drained. You want to sleep only, you don't want to do anything, you feel like all I want to be. I will talk about this in detail. There is a reason for that. It's actually a very, very good sign. So always when we do energetic work, it's not euphoria what we're going to feel. There's going to be moments also where we feel the opposite. And then the universe tests us on top of that. So it's like, why am I doing all of this healing work when my life is absolutely the opposite? But now I'm completely exhausted and really sad. I feel like I cannot see the same things and I was holding on to the last weeks. After seeing signs and confirmation of my dreams and visions, it feels like I almost reach. I smelled the experience, I saw the visions, but then it gets very blurry. And now I'm wondering if I'm doing something completely different than I'm supposed to. I thought I was living in a moment, and I let things to unfold by itself. And I stop here as well to say that, but that's what actually happened. So now, one of the things is you had an expectation from your head because of the love what you have, that this is how it's going to be. He's going to feel the same way. All it's going to be the same way. And now it went the opposite. This universe is testing your wounds, and you feel, I'm doing something wrong. It's not the right way of doing it. But it was unfolding. It was showing you that something is there. And how you're going to react, like I spoke about before when I said, I thought I had surrendered. I thought I had let go. I thought I am the superwoman now. And then the universe tests me and boom. I was spiraling back all the way. So, and now I'll continue. I thought I was myself, my soft self, my observing soft and sensitive self. I do not understand anymore what face this is, was, or is becoming. I did express my fear towards him today. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the fear. But when we have the fears inside of us, they will manifest the same way as our love or connection or anything else. Fears are as powerful as love. It's just the only thing is, if you choose love, you manifest love. If you choose fear, you manifest fear. So if you mention, I have a fear, it's going to manifest. That's why we work on the subconscious mind on the workshops, to get rid of the fears, that they will not control you. The fear that came after he ghosted me, after our trips in the past. Every time we went on a trip, he wants to break a contact for a while. And I said I had a fear that it will happen again after we spend time together. And he said, I already sensed that fear today. And followed by saying that it won't happen like this again. And my fear got triggered to the fact that he barely touched me during those weeks. And I had a lot of patience, but nothing shifted. So I expressed what I would like, or if we could touch each other. But then he said those things. I feel so small, so insecure, so sad, and not beautiful at all. I'm very lonely again since I'm back. And this is such a contrast with my vision and the calmness I had on the island. And it's so hard to keep up sometimes. Again, I'm going to repeat. You have to be you, and you have to choose you. And the inner work is within you. Does it feel nice when someone says, I don't feel attracted to you, or I'm this and that? No, not at all. But it's not your responsibility to change and shift and prove for them that you are someone. They have to see this. Another day I got a beautiful comment. I commented my friends, and it was so beautiful comment that it made me smile. My friend had a video or something, and I said, oh wow, it looks so beautiful. And she said to me, it's because you see beauty everywhere. And it made my day. And I want to say the same thing. If someone doesn't see your value, if someone doesn't see, and even if it's your twin flame, it's not about you. Break through that cycle. Let the divine masculine, so-called divine masculine, do what they have to do. The love is always there, but love does not mean we need to suffer. And I know in the beginning, all of that part is very difficult. I've been through every single part of this. But I also know that when you choose yourself and the love, you will never regret. So what can we take from today's message? We can remember that the rejection is not the end of the love. It's love itself. It's love itself that is reshaping us into this who we are. And if the love takes away the fantasy and the truth can merge, we have already won in this part. It reminds us that no one outside of us is the source of our worth. And it shows us where the old wounds are still living in. The places where love hasn't not yet fully entered. And it's part of the process. Let the love happen. We are not here to master everything overnight. If today the wounds were coming up, wonderful, wonderful. Now we know where we have to go next. And maybe the greatest lesson of all of this is that you are not a half by waiting to be completed. You are already whole and always. And you are already the love you seek. So if you find yourself in this space right now where you are and your twin has turned away, or you feel like your heart is breaking, let this episode and let this be your reminder that the pain is not your ending. The pain is an invitation for the awakening. And it is your initiation into the deepest love of all. The love of your own soul. Think of yourself today. How much do you love the fact that you get to have that human experience as a soul? So you are not abandoned. You are not small. You are not broken. You are not anything like this. You are a divine love embodied. You are the love. And this rejection, as devastating as it feels, and I do not agree with that, and I do not say that and that's why I say, well, I don't say we need to accept that. It's there, but it's not something we should accept. It's the only way back to yourself. So take it as it is. Back to home, back to the true love, to the creation of who you are, and that you can speak your truth, that you can be you can be free. And I'm really going to tell you, and might not be my workshops or energetic activations or none of this, it doesn't have to be mine. I always say you feel free to do anything you wish. Anybody who comes on your way and helps you. But remember to tap into this, because that's a gift. And I see this so many of us who are on this journey. When I hear the feedback, what happened to them after our workshops or things, and honestly, it's beautiful. I am so happy to see you when you are in alignment. And if you get to share the moments with another person, absolutely wonderful. If your twin flame is in your life and in your alignment and in your love, beautiful. But we shouldn't accept that someone puts us down. Someone says to us that you are this, you are that, and they don't see themselves. That's not something we accept. And where we suffer. And I know it's very difficult to switch off that button that I stop loving you. But no one is asking you to stop loving a person. What I am asking from you is to love yourself. To discover who you are. That's what I'm asking for. Anyways, thank you for being here. Just going quickly through that we have on this Sunday, 14th of September, a workshop for opening the heart. We use the heart kriyas. We'll do the activation, of course. As you know, Kundalini travels through heart, time and space. Many of you have said that even if you listen to my episode, you have got activated. So that makes me very happy to hear. And thank you for listening, of course. Thank you for taking your time to connect with me. And so 14th of September and 28th of September this month. Next month we'll have inner dance, and we'll have time to also talk a little bit. And then we have a retreat. So Patreon, you have all the you can access. There is now the way you can talk to others. We have a group chat over there. So when you feel very overwhelmed and you don't know what to do, you can write in a group chat. The community is absolutely beautiful. I am blessed with each one of you who shares the space with me and the energy. And any of you who need some guidance or energy activations, or see what their energy is telling, twinflameawakeningjourney.com, all of this is over there. Whenever you feel called, whenever it's divinely aligned, I'm always here. And lots of love, lots of light. Thank you for being here.
You know it's all I'm waiting for. Oh, would you hit me up? I've been waiting my whole life. Oh, for you to hit me up. I've never felt this way. I wanna turn back time, save me some heartbreak. Oh, would you stay for me if I let you in? So secretly, yeah, my melody, yeah, my melody. Would you stay with me if I let you in? I just like the way you are, yeah. All the ways you blow my mind, yeah. People always told me I need someone like you, someone who gets me and someone who's cool, yeah. And I like the way you are, and now I want it all. The way you move, I've been following every move you make. 'Cause I love the way you make me move when I'm around you. I feel so calm, so glad I found you. With the way you move, I'm gonna make a move. I'll make a move. Oh, would you stay for me if I let you in? So secretly, you are my melody, yeah, my melody. Would you stay with me if I let you in? I just like the way you are, yeah. All the ways you blow my mind, yeah. People always